Yep, we're going to talk about forgiveness right now. Bear with me. This is some really good stuff, I promise. Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Jen Anderson, the Chief Inspiration Officer and creator of the 3 a.m. with God journal. So let me share with you a wonderful Oscar Wilde quote. He says, "Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much." And isn't that true, right? So when I think of that, I think of, so we should forgive that person that upsets us, So here's an example. Somebody gets upset with something that you post on social media and they totally just blast out at you and whatever on social media. And so how are you going to respond, right? Are you going to have a mind of forgiveness and a heart of forgiveness, or are you going to have a heart of pain and frustration, whatever? Now that's up to you to decide, right? But here's the trick, is that if you forgive them, then it takes away the pain that you feel yourself. And then they in turn are going to know that you forgive them and that you feel better. They're just going to know. And you know that because when you've had moments where maybe you've lashed out at somebody and they have forgiven you, and you know that they are at peace with it, it kind of annoys you a little bit, like, oh, darn it. Right? So anyhow, so it's a really interesting kind of play on words. But I want to talk about forgiveness a little bit more. And what I want to talk about is in the scriptures, certainly the apostles are talking to Jesus and they're saying, how many times should we forgive somebody? Should be 7 times 7, right? And Christ says, no, try 7 times 70. So really the idea is it's just huge, right? It's this huge amount of opportunities to forgive people. It doesn't matter what they're doing, to forgive them. And so the reason why I want to talk about this as a business leader is that one thing I think is really powerful to recognize is that when you do something wrong, you have an opportunity to say 2 very powerful words, which is, I'm sorry. Okay, you could say it's 3 words, right? I am sorry, right? But I'm sorry. Let's go with the 2 words. And so it could be a time where maybe you don't treat an employee quite as well as you should, or you don't deliver on something that you're supposed to a client, or you get mad at a vendor or something like that. Like there's like a number of different ways that you can lash out and you can be unhappy with what somebody is doing. And then there's that opportunity as a business leader to stop and say, okay, that was probably not the best that I could have done. And if I am a follower of Christ, if I am a man or woman of God, is that what Christ would have me do, right? And no, he wants us to treat each other with respect. And now certainly Jesus did clear out the temple. He got pretty upset when they were doing the money changing inside the temple, and he cleared that temple right on out, right? And so at times when it makes sense, you need to act with force, right? But think of like, there's like, I don't know, one example, really one clear example off the top of my head I can think of where Christ really acted like that. For the most part, he definitely tried to teach people with love and compassion and respect and understanding where they're at and meeting people where they're at, right? And so he's a wonderful example of how to live in that way. And so as a business leader for yourself, you want to think about, okay, am I exemplifying that to other people? And so learn to embrace I'm sorry. And here's the reason why, is that when you apologize to someone, and you don't just say like, I'm sorry, and just out of exasperation, just to get the person to calm down, right? Or you say it kind of, tongue in cheek or split tongued, right? Like, I'm sorry, you certainly want to stop and really look at, okay, how remorseful are you? How repentant about it are you? And are you going to do what you can to turn it around and to make it better? And so look for those opportunities to truly be sorrowful for when you do something wrong, and to apologize and to make it better, right? Now, here's the deal. Back to the Oscar Wilde quote, right? So nothing annoys them more. I'd like to suggest that the one that's going to be annoyed the most when you forgive is Satan. Satan's going to be ticked that you have said I'm sorry, and that you're working to fix that bond, right? To breach the gap that has happened, that break that has happened. Satan's going to be upset because Satan wants to keep that gap. He wants to make sure that that it's been breached, right? That there's this break between the two of you, between you and your employee, or you and your customer, or you and your vendor, or you and whomever it is, right? He doesn't want there to be this knitting back together. He wants you to stay broken apart. So let's go annoy Satan, right? And let's make sure that we forgive people who have hurt us. And let's make sure to say, I'm sorry to the people that we have hurt. And let's build stronger relationships in the workforce and in our work environments, and with our customers, and with our employees, and with our vendors, and whomever it is that we're interacting with. And let's strengthen that so that today Satan doesn't win. Let's be on God's team. Let's go do that, right? And as faith-based leaders, let's make a difference in what we're doing with our work and our businesses. So scroll down, make a little note in the comments. Let me know what you think about this, and what are you doing to, maybe if you have a technique or something that you do to help to express forgiveness and or sorrow for what you have done. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you listening in, and remember always that God has a message for you.